Okay, hello. This is going to be a bit on topology and retopology. Retopology is when you take a model and you change up the edge flow because there are issues with it potentially. In this case, there are a number of issues with this model, and I plan on adjusting them right through here. Basically, the sweep of these faces is bizarre, right? And they go out on the leg, and this thigh area is where we're going to have maybe some issues with that topology, and potentially also through the back, and we want to kind of correct that, right? So I've already gone ahead and corrected it on this model, and I've basically made it so that same edge loop now flows basically underneath and over instead of this whole thing here, right, where we see this goes down the leg. Because again, whenever you deal with extra loops going everywhere, right, it's not contained. I have it's down jumping all over the place, and you're gonna find that now you have to deal with that going into the foot and around toes, and it keeps slipping into all these places. So you really want your edge flow to, as much as possible, try and kind of contain it and direct it. So let's take a look at what that process is kind of going to look like. And we'll take this and we'll crunch that out. And in a lot of cases, you can try and redirect the flow, but if we look at it, look, it goes right down here and kind of hits a point where it jumps back out. And that edge loop is not going to work for us. So what we really need to do is literally just kind of delete out all of these. I'll select it like this, and then shift, arrow, and yes, all of these have to go, pretty much all of it. So we're just going to delete it, and I'm essentially looking at it like this. I look at it and I say, okay, well, here's an edge piece. Let's go ahead and sit inside here. It makes it a little easier. And I'm just going to kind of extrude these edges on out. So over and down. And let's do that again. Get another over and up. When you look at it, this is going to be a little funky because essentially this whole edge right here needs to match up with this edge. So let's go in here and just kind of grab these verts, and I'm just going to kind of tie them together, and then I'm going to merge them. Merge. Oops. I got my merge set really, really tight so it doesn't get anything else merged into it, but that can kind of be a hindrance sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and here, and we're going to go ahead and merge. And now I got this issue of this huge piece of geometry sitting here, right? And this is a pretty good example of how crazy some of this can get, because this is not particularly a peaceful. It's a very wild sort of geometry. It's going to be really obnoxious, I guess is what I'm saying. Let's grab this and pull this in and merge this. But it's a good example of how to really kind of retopologize something. So now I've kind of got this, but all these pieces are kind of oddly extruded, and they're kind of sitting there. I'm going to let that sit there. I'm going to try and fill in this space. I really want to fill in the space before I can really see what's happening. And then I can kind of draw more edge loops in or delete edges as needed. So let's go ahead and grab this, and we're going to drag it up, right, and kind of make that fit a little better, and kind of there. And then another one, and we're going to go up to the next loop, kind of even that out, make that fit a little better, right? And then we'll go ahead and one more time and up, and that should cover a number of those faces. See, And it only gets weird in the back. Let's go ahead and just start stitching this up. Merge. And merge. And this one, see, look at that. I've got an empty row happening here. That's because this top one's kind of got a weird, see how there's a lot of stretch here. This is a wide space and this is much smaller. And merge. And then I'd want to do it all for here too, so let's do that real quick. There, and merge, and here. And merge, and here, and here. Pull that in, and merge. We still have one left, so we might as well just kind of get that one. Well, let's append that one just because it'll be a little quicker, so we'll use the append tool. Just kind of slap that in there. And append here to there. Oops, there we go. How's that look? Okay, so now I've got some edge loops that are a little more appreciable. These two need to kind of connect still, so let's get them in there and merge them. Okay, and make sure to check everything is solidified, as it were. So I get that, and then I can kind of start messing with that and adjusting the verts, and that's what I did with the other one here, is I smoothed them all out and lined them back up with my reference back here. See, there you go, lining it all up. But in this case, what we really want to also do is, this one, after I got done with that, I still have this issue. I get this weird face in here, see? And it's right here. It's this one right here. This face is not so good, right? So I was like, well, shoot, how can I fix that up? And what I did was I cut out pieces and I put another edge in here, another edge loop through, and I put an edge loop through here. So I added essentially another edge loop. This is a time when I want to add an edge loop, so I added an edge loop here. It doesn't exist here. You can see how there's a thing there, and by adding an extra edge loop, I was able to delete out this facing here. So if I do a comparison between the two here, see how this one now flows and there's a smoothness and everything kind of flows down underneath the legs, and that's better. It's a little more contained that way. This one's got kind of a bizarre little chip hanging off basically because of this 5-star, and I wanted to remove it. I got rid of that 5-star that was in there. And to do that, I really had to kind of just come in here and basically delete those out. So let's see here. There it is right there. And moving up through here and here. So yeah, I mean, it was just a process of kind of pulling this spacing out. Especially through here, these right here. I basically deleted this edge. I know I just created this edge loop, but I'm trying to remove this 5-star, right? So in this case, there's no more 5-star, right? I cut it out, and then I added an extra loop instead to cover my butt. Recreating it would be a little bit of a mess, but basically, we don't want this. We don't want this face. So we essentially have to kind of come through and continue this edge. See? Right there? You see it? So let me just show you. Let's take this, object mode, split, right? I have to make a new edge. Here, here. But it doesn't continue proper up here, so I have to probably kind of delete that out too, because it gets weird. I need to adjust this whole little piece back here as well. See? The difference being that this one has this 5-star over here. This one, I got rid of it. And I got rid of it by just essentially removing those. So, you know, if you find something like this, you really just kind of gotta kill it with fire, right? These 5 stars, you don't want them in there. So, see? Kind of readjust this edge flow. Place it so that there's another line running, and that's where I had to put in an extra edge here too. So as long as you keep that sort of 4-point consistency, see, all 4s, triangle's gone. I actually essentially moved the 5 star to right here, but yeah, see, there are the 5 stars now. They're just down here now. By controlling those edges, flipping them. I use this flip tool a lot to get them out of the way. Right. So that's a way to control edge loops. You know, take a look at it again. See, I deleted out things, I build up things, and it's definitely a bit of a brain puzzle, right? Because now I've got this extra loop. See, so add a new loop. But if you do it like that, it's going to loop all the way around. You want to do it like this, by creating a split. See? I can start to control it more. See? There you go. See? Now I've got that flow happening. I still have some problems here. Right? That edge point here, there's a 5 star now. I guess that 5 star was always there, so I'll shut my mouth. But you just got to keep pushing into, right? So now I need one probably here too. See? So it's knowing when can you add more edge loops and when do you not need them. In this case, we need them. See? There we go. See? It's all 4s, all quads. It keeps rolling. I'll just keep doing that. I'll push back here. I'll get rid of this. I'll just keep adjusting and fixing and adding more edges as needed until I have a nice quad system set up, like I did up here. See? So then by the end, I'll have this with nice little edge loops flowing evenly. I gotta adjust these still, but there you go. All right.